Hi everyone, my name is Robert Couto, and thank you so much for watching Eating Healthy with Robert Couto. Today we're going to be talking about MyPlate. MyPlate is a very important instrument that we use in the nutrition field and in the dietetic field. So MyPlate was made from the United States Department of Agriculture back in 2011. Before then they had the food pyramids, they had different recommendations on how much food, vegetables, fruits, dairies you should have in your daily activities. So the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA, made MyPlate. MyPlate is a visual demonstration on what exactly your plate should look like based on 6 groups and why is it important and what counts as a food group. So I have here is a MyPlate from the Harvard School of Public Health. It's just another different type of MyPlate that was made from another organization. Gives you recommendations on what to drink, how much oil you should put. It has vegetables, fruits, the protein source, and the grain source. So this is just an idea of what MyPlate would look like. This is adopted from, again, the Harvard School of Public Health. And again, we'll show you MyPlate online too. And you guys are more than welcome to go on choosemyplate.gov and it'll show you everything about MyPlate. So before we start going deep down in each group and why is it important, I want to tell you guys that everything you eat and drink is very important. So the MyPlate is geared to help you and build on variety, the amounts, the nutrition facts, and luckily enough, I have a nutrition facts here that I have laminated, and it gives you where to start and how much you should probably not eat or how much between you should eat, what you should get enough of on this, and it gives you little facts right here. So this is very important. Both MyPlate and the nutrition facts go hand in hand in this, okay? So I'm going to be talking about this as well too in there, okay? So it gives you it gives you an idea of what foods and beverages you should choose on. You want to try to get low sodium foods and drinks that are very low in saturated fats, and they also talk about not having added sugars in there. They want to try to focus on natural sugars. So there is a big difference between natural sugars such as fruits that have natural sugars in there that are good sources of carbs compared to added sugar, which is for flavoring, preserving, okay? So MyPlate also gives you an idea of where to start. You know, start building on different and small changes in your diet. Rather than having 1 soda a day, you should have maybe half a soda, or not have a lot of soda, and start adapting more changes and smaller changes, like more water in your diet. And it helps you build a stronger and healthier eating lifestyles. So it gives you an idea on what to aim for, how much you should eat during your plate and during your day as well too. And it also helps support healthy eating for everyone. So it gives you a general guideline of what you should go for every person. So again, there's adapting everything. There's carbs, protein, fats, and there's no bad way of looking at it. They're showing you the benefits of everything, okay? So the MyPlate has 6 groups. It has the fruits, vegetables, dairy, protein, oils, and I'm forgetting one, and it's the dairy, okay? So we're gonna go down through each one of them, and we're gonna show you why it's important to include this and why you should probably focus on how much you're eating on your plate, okay? So first we're gonna be talking about fruits. Fruits are typically 1 cup serving size, and when you go on MyPlate, it shows you what's the equivalent of it. So it shows you that 100% fruit juice. They talk about how much you should be eating based on your age, your activity level, and your sex. And when you go down and click on the daily food table, it shows you children, girls, boys, women, men, and it shows you age group. That gives you an idea of how much you should be eating based on the USDA guidelines as well too, okay? So 1 equivalent of a cup for fruits is considered to be a cup of sliced fruits, orange juice, canned foods as well too is included in as well too. And you get your source of vitamin C, other vitamins and minerals that are very important for your health. You always want to include that because it has a natural source of carbohydrates, which is your main energy source for everything, okay? So they want to try to advocate 1 to 2 cups based on your age, gender, your sex, and your activity level, okay? So next we're going to be talking about grains. Grains is an equivalent of 1 ounce. 1 ounce of grains would be considered a slice of bread. So when you look at the nutrition facts, it shows you that it's going to show you what's the serving size of it. It's going to be 1 slice. And then how much slices are in each cup or each package. So it'll show you that number, and you always want to focus on that, okay? So 1 ounce of a sliced bread of grains, and they want to advocate 1 to 4 ounces a day. So that would be considered, and we're going to go online here, and it'll show you what is an equivalent for a grain. A grain here would be, you want to try to focus on half of the grains you eat have to be whole grain. So that includes cereals, they include breads, that includes pasta, oatmeals, and when you go online and you show the daily grain table, it shows you all the equivalents there based on your sex, your activity level, and your age as well, okay? It's very important because these are the first energy source for individuals. So whole grains have fiber, and fiber is very important as well because for your GI, which is gastrointestinal system, and fiber holds the water, the nutrients to make sure that your intestines absorb all of it completely. It makes it a little bit slower for your GI to be working and absorb everything, okay? So next we're going to be talking about vegetables. Vegetables including broccoli, potatoes, you have different types of carrots, you have squash, corn, Brussels sprouts, tomatoes. Well, tomatoes are counted as fruits as well too, but we won't go into that discussion. But what we'll do is we'll talk about how much you should be eating, 1 to 3 cups a day based on the USDA guidelines, okay? And this includes having the amounts as well too, and you see that they have children, girls, boys, women, and men. And you can see that men in 19 to 30 have higher recommendations based on their activity level, their peak energy expenditure, and that gives you an idea of how much you should be eating, how many fruits and vegetables or vegetables you should be eating. And I consider half a cup of cooked or a whole cup of raw vegetables too as well. And it's very important for vegetables because they have a high amount of source of sometimes fiber. They have vitamins and minerals that you won't find in any other group. Vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin E. You won't find that in most groups as well too, unless it's fortified, such as dairy. And next we're going to be talking about proteins. Proteins is the #1 group that's abused in our society because a lot of people enjoy a nice 16-ounce steak at a restaurant. So it's going to be eye-opening to look at the recommendations based on the USDA. And they're not advocating very fat meats. They're talking about a very lean source that have at least 10% of fat or less in ground meat. They have steaks that are very lean. There's portioned out for 4 ounces. And the recommendations based on USDA guidelines is 2 to 6 ounces equivalents. So that's considered to be 3 or 4 ounces of steak that's lean. And they talk about having nuts and seeds in there, which is another protein source as well. They talk about tofu, they talk about vegetarian options, vegan options, beans, peas, eggs. And when you look online, it shows you the equivalence of it and what counts as an equivalent and how much protein you should have each day. So again, all this on the website is based on your age, your gender or your sex or your age and activity level, okay? So it's very important because it has the 20 amino acids available in your system. You need to have amino acids for building blocks. Each amino acid is very important for specific areas of your body for repairment, for rebuilding your DNA, for rebuilding muscle, to make sure that you're actually repairing everything in your system, because your cells work in a different way, that they repair and they rebuild and they break down to make sure that it gets rebuilt again, and they want to continue that process. So meats, for example, have all the 20 essential amino acids or non-essential amino acids as well too, and you'll see that in beans and rice too. They also include the beans in here, but not the rice, how much you should put in there, okay? It's very, very important, okay? The next we're going to be talking about dairy. Dairy is, they talk about 2 or 3 cup equivalents. So an 8-ounce cup of low-fat or fat-free milk. They talk about having yogurt. They talk about having kefir, different types of yogurts. They talk about having cheeses as well too. And it's very important because there's not a lot of food groups that have calcium or vitamin D in there, and it's very very important for people who are over the age of 40 or 50 who are having dangers of having broken bones or osteoporosis. So the dairy group is very important, and when you look online, it shows you a general idea of what you should be eating or consuming based on your age and your sex and your activity level, okay? It's very important to look at each detail, showing that why the benefits of it. There is vitamin D, calcium, there's protein source in dairy as well. And you want to get enough, and 2 or 3 cups is the recommendations from USDA MyPlate, okay? And lastly, oils, healthy oils. So I am talking about olive oil based or oil based dressings. I'm talking about the oils in salmon, fish. They have a very good amount of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. They have unsaturated, monounsaturated fats. They have polyunsaturated fats. Those are very important to include as well too on the MyPlate. And when you go through the nutrition facts, you'll see underneath the fats, they'll show you that you want to try to get poly and monounsaturated fats, which would be considered blue on this table here, okay? It's very important to include because it helps with your mind. It helps you with your brain activity, helps you with your heart. So we can definitely, if you guys are more than welcome to, give me questions about how much is needed, go ahead and look on MyPlate, the choosemyplate.gov, and it shows you how much you should be consuming, and it shows you the daily values as well too. So men, women, boys, girls, children, they have 3 to 6 or 3 to 7 teaspoons. Teaspoons is the smaller liquid measurements that we use in the food industry, and they talk about that. And it's very important to include that serving size is very important to look at, okay? And it gives you all these guides as well too, okay? Again, I just went through the MyPlate, the 6 groups, and why it's very important. I gave you an overview of why you should probably include this in your daily activities, because it gives you an idea of what to look for, what's the good amounts, variety. It tells you about the nutrition. It also talks about how small changes can lead to great improvements. So we're not asking you to remove everything that you don't like. We're asking you to make those small changes and continue building a stronger and healthier eating lifestyle, okay? And it supports all eating groups for everyone, okay? And we always want to try to consume less saturated fats, foods that don't have as much sodium, or food or drinks that don't have added sugars. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching my segment on eating healthy with Robert Couto. If you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to contact me on email, my Facebook page at RC Nutrition Consulting. And again, thank you guys so much for watching my podcast on this. Bye.